Alright, I've decided to go over this Resident Evil 2 Remake leak copy pasta I've been seeing around. And as you know, E3 is closing in, and people are anticipating an announcement for Resident Evil 2 Remake at E3. I do believe that they are going to announce something. According to Capcom's fiscal report, I believe for the previous quarter, they suggested that they're going to be announcing 2 major titles next year, and they are focusing on remakes as well. So one of those would most likely be a remake, and the other possibly a sequel to a previous title that they have out. I'm kind of hoping for Dragon's Dogma 2, but if it's like Devil May Cry 5, that's good, and then Devil May Cry 5 and Resident Evil 2 Remake, that would be pretty strong, or Dragon's Dogma 2 and Resident Evil 2 Remake, that'd be good as well. I personally believe that they could be rolling out another Dragon's Dogma because of the the engine that they're using for Monster Hunter World. It's just perfect for that, but I guess we'll see. So let's go over these supposed leaks that I'm taking with a massive grain of salt. Now, I don't know if these started on V first. I saw them on V first, but the link at the bottom goes to a Rely on Horror article on it, and also, I guess the leaks were posted on Recetera, which is post NeoGAF. And if you know anything about NeoGAF, a lot of leaks tend to get posted there, especially prior to gaming expos or even E3. And a lot of those tend to be, I would say, 30 to 40% correct. Like, they have a possibility, certain things, of being true. So that's why some people are kind of like, they might freak out about certain things, and other people are like, just, they shrug it off. This is like, especially with, before a possibility of a Resident Evil title being announced, this is like the same song and dance every fucking time. Leaks on V, leaks on like Resident Evil forums and sites. Then you have, the funny thing is, you have Japanese sites that are also posting the leaks from American forums and articles and sites too. So I just find it funny. I mean, all this shit's getting posted around. It's the same shit that happens all the time, and I really don't try to take it too seriously anymore. I'm just gonna wait and see if something gets announced. Before I go over these two, the Capcom development team Twitter, I forget which one it is. It's for the, I believe there's like 2 development teams for Resident Evil. There's the ones that are working on like 7 and some of the other titles, and then there's the one that have been working on the remakes and the HD remasters. And I believe the Twitter for those guys, they have been posting some very teasing images, which I'll put up. Like every couple of months or so, they've been doing that up to this point, and so I do believe that they're gearing up to announce something. And even Hideki Kamiya has been posting. I know he's not part of Capcom anymore, but he does still know these guys, and he hangs out with them, and he's been teasing stuff too in relation to Resident Evil, or the possibility of the Resident Evil 2 remake. So I do believe they're gearing up to announce something soon. Alright, let's go over this list here. Okay. So the game will be developed on an improved and significantly optimized RE engine with an impressive revamped lighting and shadow system. I do believe this is true because I believe they said something about RE engine like really early into like after they announced that they would be working on Resident Evil 2 Remake. The funny thing is, like, people jump to conclusions because RE engine was used for Resident Evil 7, so people thought, oh no, Resident Evil 2 Remake is going to be a VR game, or it's going to be first person. No, that doesn't mean it's going to be that. RE engine's actually for higher quality renders and more organic models and backgrounds, and you could see that with Resident Evil 7. And with a game like a remake, it would, like, a higher quality, like, backgrounds and models and stuff, that would be great. It'd just make it beautiful. Because, Resident Evil 2 Remake's got a lot to I guess, live up to in comparison to the remake for Resident Evil 1. Like, Resident Evil 1 remake, it's got a long life, I guess you could say, of looking great even now. And then when they did the HD remaster for Resident Evil Remake, that was even better. Like, it's just a really fucking beautiful game. It ages really good. So Resident Evil 2 Remake, that's why people are like really, I guess, anal about this, like the information coming out, because they want it to be good. A lot of people want it to be, and even myself, I'm a little bit lenient these times. In terms of Resident Evil, I'm not as fussy about it, because I'm kind of, the Resident Evil series has been going on for quite a long time, and I'm surprised that it's still going at this point, but, I'm not like, worried about it as much anymore. I just want Remake to be good and to be playable, at this point. Okay, so let's see. Game will be aiming for a solid 30 FPS at 1080p on a standard PS4 and 60 FPS at native 4K on PS4 Pro. The engine loads different resolutions each time you enter a room. I don't really know about this. Like, why would it load different resolutions? I mean, I can understand. Now, if they did something like what they did with Monster Hunter World, where you could actually, on the PS4 Pro anyways, I know Monster Hunter World allows you to do this, but you can sort of like, have the game focus on like resolution, frame rate, detail, and environment. It would be good if they did that for Resident Evil 2 Remake as well. I just wanted it. I have a PS4 Pro. That's the only thing I really am going to be playing it on. I might want a PC port. Not PC port. I might want like a PC version as well. 1080p, 60 frames. That's all I want. I don't need it to be 4K. At 30 frames, I don't know. As long as it isn't like a stuttery mess, especially on the PC version, which, I'm a little iffy about PC releases of Capcom games like in the past, like 6 years, because they never have a really good start. There's always like issues that they have with like the effects and being poorly optimized. So I think however, the Resident Evil 1 remaster was actually pretty smooth as far as I remember. So I mean, I might be interested in getting the PC version of this, but I'm not too fussy about this. I don't even know if they would do this, so it seems a little weird. The game will be first Resident Evil title designed with a 4K resolution in mind, meaning that the assets will be in native 4K resolution. Like I said, I don't really care. I do have a 4K TV. I have a PS4 Pro. Higher quality would be great, but I'm not too worried about that. They believe that the game will be the best looking Capcom game so far, and has the potential to seriously compete with games like God of War in terms of visuals. I don't. This focus on the thing is like I want it to be a good looking game. I don't want them to go so far as to make it like super realistic though, which is things that a lot of companies have been focusing on lately, is making them super realistic. There's like another thing mentioned later in relation to that, and I'm like, I don't, there's only a certain point that I want games to go in terms of realism. I do want them, especially Japanese games, I don't really agree with like the model, like the characters looking like super realistic, like actual people, and using like photo scanning technology to make them too realistic. It looks weird, I kind of like them looking a little like, fantastical, I guess, more like stylized characters in a way. I don't want to see every fucking like hair and pimple or pore on their face or whatever, I don't really care about that. I want it to be a beautiful game, but I don't want it to be super realistic. I actually, as much as I like Resident Evil 7, the models did look, there's a very uncanny thing about some of the models, especially what the fuck is her name? It's been a while since I played it, but you know, the chick that jeez, I can't even remember names now. I think you know who I'm talking about. The main chick that you're sent to rescue, and she ends up being a researcher or whatever. But yeah, the models look really fucking strange. They work for that the really like realistic organic look that you can get with the RE engine. Works for monsters and I guess crazy sort of mutated human beings like the Bakers were. As far as like the actual characters that you play as, though, I don't really know. The game's camera will be, this is the thing that everyone's spurging out about, over-the-shoulder view, akin to Resident Evil 4 in mind, but a bit stylized in execution, so I guess we'll have to wait and see the game's first reveal to see what does stylized OTS camera means in motion. This could mean anything. I mean, people are jumping to conclusions, but as long as it's not like, I think RE6's over-the-shoulder view was like the worst because the characters are like right up in the camera. It was really bad. I personally like. I'm not gonna say I started with 4. I'm a classic Resident Evil fan, so because I really like Resident Evil 1 Remake, I want it to be closer to that. So, you know, but not everyone agrees with fixed camera angles in this day and age, or the tank controls, which you can't have. You have to have both of them together. If you have fixed camera angles, you have to have it in that certain view, third-person view, with the tank controls. They work together basically. But if the environment doesn't have the fixed camera angles, then you have to have the over-shoulder view. If you're doing anything else, I mean that's just the way it is. I didn't really have a problem with. Like, I really like Resident Evil Revelations. That's over-the-shoulder view. That one wasn't too bad. And, I know there are certain parts in that game that aren't very, like, horror-like and stray away from the classic formula. But I personally like Revelations. I don't think the remake should be like Revelations because it was pretty actiony, but I would prefer it to be like the first remake, but we're just gonna have to see what they say. It's better to see the footage first before jumping to conclusions about this, so I'm not freaking out yet. Let's see. We use a photogrammetry scanning technology, just like Resident Evil 7, noting that Capcom took note of fans' confusion over Chris's new model in Resident Evil 7, so that made them do more effort while modeling RE2 characters. Claire will have a different outfit while retaining some similarities. Yeah, people were freaking out about this too. I don't know, I would prefer her to have her outfit from Resident Evil 2, like the original, or the one from Dark Side Chronicles. I actually like the outfit too. As long as they don't change it too much. Like a few like different style choices here and there are fine, but like the whole outfit though, like changing the image, I don't know about that. I don't really care for them photo scanning real people. I don't. Just make them look like well, I don't know. They've been doing, the thing is like, they've been basing the models off of actual people for a long time. Even since Resident Evil 1 Remake, like for instance, Jill is based on Julia Voff, and like Rebecca was based on what's her name? The Japanese pop singer. I forgot her name. But they've been doing that for a while, but I think they don't, like in Remake, they didn't, I don't know if they like scanned the faces. I think they modeled based on the faces and sort of used those the actresses' faces for the texture, but I don't know. I don't want them to look like too realistic, you know, because it's gonna sort of look uncanny. Like I didn't care for Chris's new look in Resident Evil 7, so I don't want them to try and remodel the way, or completely redesign the way Claire and Leon look. compared to like the models that we've seen like Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 6 and Revelations 2. So I don't really know. I mean, you are talking about a game that takes place way before those games, so you really don't want to redesign them too much. You want to base the way the characters look on the way they look in the later games. Maybe touch them up a bit with the new engine, but that's about it. You know, don't just... Yeah. Capcom had brought in outside contractors who had worked on the series previously, including people who worked on Resident Evil 2 and 4. So, actually, I wonder if... Because Kamiya... I can't remember if Kamiya has worked on Resident Evil 2, and I don't know if he was involved in 4. I know he's been with the series in its early days, and he has been... Is it Kamiya? Did I say Hideki Kamiya? I think that's his name. Blockmaster guy. He's been posting a lot of stuff teasing things about Resident Evil 2, so I don't know if they've brought him in to have any say on certain things while they're working on it or not. I guess we'll see. The game will include campaigns for both Leon and Claire, but the game will overall be much longer than the original with lots of new content and areas. This is fine. When they did the remake for Resident Evil 1, they added a lot of stuff. They even added like new story elements. I don't know how people reacted to that time because I wasn't exactly following Resident Evil on the internet when Remake came out. So I don't know if like people were fussing about that at first, but I mean, overall it turned out pretty good. Like with the added stuff, it sort of like enhanced the story that it started with. So, and the thing about this is that since Resident Evil 2, like throughout the series, they've added like bits and pieces to the story. And thing is, some people would say some of those things are like retconning what was originally part of Resident Evil 2, or even like the story before some of the new games. So I don't know what exactly they're going to add. There's a lot of stuff that's been added to the events in Raccoon City that have happened in Raccoon City since the classic game, so I don't know what they would add. As long as it doesn't like conflict with the games, I guess like the series so far, then I guess it's fine. The game will keep its horror P focus. The game will keep its horror focus and classic Resident Evil design elements intact. That is really going to depend on the way the game functions, because the way the environment works, the way the camera works, the way like the characters are controlled, that all goes together in with the horror elements of the game itself. Like with the first remake, the fixed camera angles, the tank controls, the way the environments are designed, the way the enemies move in those environments, that all goes together, and that works for that particular game and creating a certain, like, you know, fear, I guess, based on that. But this is really going to depend on how it functions. You know, you can't just throw scary shit in the game and expect it to be scary. It's really dependent on how the game actually functions, you know, how the environment works, how the camera works. You know, if it's over the shoulder view, it might not actually be as frightening as the first version of the game, Resident Evil 2. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, that's that. I mean, other than that, I don't have much to say other than what covering these bits and pieces. So I mean, I'm just gonna wait and see if something gets announced at E3, and I guess depending on the footage, if they show any sort of footage, I will sort of judge based on that. But you know, they'll probably only show like a little bit. But you know, people are gonna be probably losing their damn minds. It really depends on what it is. So I'm just gonna wait and see. But that's that.